Greetings and salutations, welcome to another club guide with me, your host, Loki Doki. If you want to find out more about me, the link is in the description. I'll also mention it at the end. But let's get into it today. We're looking at Bayern Munich. And you're probably thinking, why are you doing a club guide on Bayern Munich? You could pick up their first team, vomit it onto a tactics board, and it'll probably win most games. Which, actually, good point. But the interesting thing for me, having had a very brief look at the under-19s and the second team, is that they've got no good youth players. We'll look through it shortly, but you'll see. It's pretty... I think the first team is amazing, but there's some older players in there. I think it's kind of building for the next generation of the Bayern team. I think is going to be the most interesting part of this challenge. So let's have a look. I have no idea how much money we've got to spend. So in this guide, basically, we look for finances. We check out the wage budget. We check out the transfer budget. We look at what the club expects us to achieve this season. We also look at the youth teams and the first squad. We'll go through the first squad, have a look at any weaknesses. It's Bayern Munich. There's not going to be many, let's face it. But we'll have a look at any weaknesses in that first team squad. And then what I'll do is I'll skip on a few weeks, buy some of the transfers that I would buy if I was doing this save, and then go through the team. So, first things first, we got a message from Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, and these are the philosophies that you have to adhere to. Play possession football and develop players using the club's youth system, which is going to be interesting because I'll show you. We got a few transfers, updates, a couple of loanies. We'll look at those when we get to the team. So first things first, let's look at the cash. So we have a bank balance of £181 million. We have £21 million budget. That seems a bit tight with that bank balance. Currently spending 2.3 million on wages, and we've almost got 2.5. Okay, so the first things first, let's have a look to see if the board will give us some more money. No, they're not having any of this. We might be left behind by a road. Yeah, okay, it's not happening. Okay, bail. Don't want to get sacked on my first day. Right. So, £21 million to spend. It's still not bad, is it? So first, let's look at the youth team. So this is the Bayern second team. As you can see by the potentials, we're not going to go through every player. I'm just going to look at the top talent. So we don't really have much here. This is our best guy, 18 years old, and he does look really good. He's got, interestingly, for an 18-year-old, he's actually got decent current ability, but the scouts don't think he'll get massively improved. Central midfielder, 18 years old. Not bad. His physicals definitely need some work. Obviously, they go up naturally with age, but they're still a little bit too low for my liking. But a decent passer of the ball, good technique, first touch, composure. I like that. Comes deep to get the ball, dictates tempo. So not bad. He could be a possibility. I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar, but definitely with some potential. I'll let you guys look at the others. I don't think there's much else there. As I said, look at this youth team. It's dreadful. So, the under-19s, we've got one... Wow. Okay. He wouldn't even get in my YouTube FC career. Yeah, not good. It's not pretty. And they want you to develop players with the club's youth system. So, that's going to be tricky. The facilities are all good. The junior coaching is only good. So, I think we need to youth recruitment. Go to the board, try and get them to improve that. First thing you do, I think. So let's look at the Big Daddy squad. These are the bad boys of the Bayern Munich side. We have a goalkeeper. Obviously, Sven Ulrich is going to be your main. No, he's not really. Manuel Neuer, 30 years old. He's going to be with the club for another, maybe 6, 7, 8 years. He's the best goalkeeper in the world. He's quite good. I'm not going to need to go too much detail. You don't have to worry about a goalkeeper. Sven Ulrich is a decent backup. He's not going to get many games. The odd cup game. I think he's perfectly fine as a backup. Next up, let's look at defenders. Got a few injuries here. Let's have a look. 3 months, 5 months, and 4 months. Okay, that's to bear in mind because they're all centre-backs. So a centre-back looks on the card. We'll go through what we need to improve after we've had a brief look at the team. We've got Jerome Boateng, centre-back. Sorry, my phone. Centre-back, and can also play perfectly well as full-back. He's got decent crossing, decent dribbling, loads of pace. Yeah, he's so versatile. You can play him as a wing-back. Probably play him half decent as a striker. So perfect. Next up, we've got David Alaba, who's a left-sided fullback. Can also play centre-back, but his heading's 5. That might be a slight issue. Jumping reach is only 10. Yeah, not a centre-back, a left-back or a left wing-back. You could also play him further forward if need be, but another superb player, only 23 years old. Benashia, I do apologise if I murder names, I'm useless at names. Absolutely superb centre-back, perfectly good. 28 years old, so he's in his peak now. Then we've got right-backs. We've got Rafinha, who's a decent right-back with sort of unspectacular, really, but decent going forward. We've got Sebastian Roddy. Yeah, one of them. He can play right-back, and he's okay at it. A little bit low in the stats area, but he's more of a defensive midfielder as a ball-winning midfielder, but he's a very versatile player. Only 24 years old, so he's going to improve. Felipe Lahm. Don't know what you'd say about him. He's one of the world's greatest ever fullbacks. Probably the greatest ever fullback, arguably. He is retiring. Plans to retire in 3 years' time. Okay, cool. That's fine. Still only 31 years old. It's interesting that he's announced his retirement already, but for 3 years, that's fine. So, all good on that front. We got another left back and left winger in Juan Bernat. We'll go with that. Really good physicals. 22 years old. Going to improve. Decent player. Then we've got Xabi Alonso, a personal favourite of mine as a Liverpool fan. His physicals are dropping down a bit. He's 33 years old now, but he doesn't need to run about. Just have him in the middle pinging balls apart because he's one of the best passers in the world. Yeah, he's going to just ping balls about for fun, really. 20 passing, 16 technique, decision making. Oh, it's just his mentals are ridiculous. He's going to play in the heart of your midfield. We have this is the guy we've got out on loan. He does look quality. He's off at Gelsenkirchen. And he looks a very good central midfielder. He's 19 years old, £8 million. Possible 5-star potential. He's going to be huge. Very versatile player. Loving that. Then we got Thiago, another central midfielder, 24 years old. Very decent player. Physicals are a little bit low, but everything else is good. Then we got Vidal, who another central midfielder, but can play anywhere but in goal, apparently. I've not seen that in a long time. But a very, very good player. 28 years old, so he's in his sort of prime now. Then we've got Kimmich, who's one of the youngsters. Decent potential. If you've got maybe room to spare, maybe we could loan him out for a season or just use him as a sort of squad rotation backup option. Another really versatile player. Then we've got Thomas Müller, who can play as a right winger, behind the front man or up top. Superb. Mentals are ridiculous. Valued at 25 million. Shadow Striker is an interesting option. I haven't used that much in this iteration of Football Manager, but absolutely superb player. Then we've got Douglas Costa, 24 years old. Can play on both wings, left-footed. Cuts inside from the right wing, so you can play him as an inside forward on the right or play him as a winger on the left. Probably winger suits him a little bit better stat-wise. Decent pace, very good crossing and dribbling, good flair. He's going to beat people for fun. Decent player. Then we've got Kingsley Coman, who gets very good in a couple of the saves. I've got a lead save on my channel going on, and he was playing for Tottenham and worth 30-40 million. He was absolutely superb. Really pacey winger. Definitely one for the future. We have loaned him from Juventus, so we've got an option. I've totally forgotten where the option is. 15 million future fee. That's definitely doable, I think. Give him some game time this season. His mentals aren't the best, but he's 19 years old. He's going to improve massively. Then we've got Julian Green, who's currently loan listed. Probably not going to make it. He's going to turn into a decent player, but not good enough for Bayern Munich. Then we've got Frank Ribery. You have to say it in that accent. It's the law. Superb player. Just starting to go past downhill now at the moment. 32 years old. Still very pacey, but those are going to start to drop off. I think he's going to be good for a season or maybe two. But then longer term, you're going to have to look to replace him. And then you've got Arjen Robben, who's kind of in the same boat. He's just a year younger. His physicals are still very good. He's still one of the best players at the club. So you're going to definitely get a good 2 years out of him. But longer term, definitely one we're going to need to replace. Milos Pantovic is rubbish. What are you doing in that team? And then we've got Mario Götze, ex-Borussia Dortmund player. Has been there for 3 seasons now. Had a couple of really good seasons. Very good player behind the striker, or can play on the wing. His crossing's not fantastic. Interesting to sort of find a position for him, but he's very, very good. Still only 23. It feels like he's been around for ages. And then Robert Lewandowski is immense. Still only 26. His goal scoring record is ridiculous. Not much to say about him. He's your first choice striker. So there we have it. We have a superb, absolutely superb first team. I think let's look at through what issues that we might see now. So goalkeeper, fine for the next 5 years. Okay, I think if we had these players playing, which we'll have a look at these players. So we've got Batstuber, centre back. He's pretty decent. I think he definitely needs to work on his heading. He's got a good jumping reach, so that's okay. But needs to get improve his heading. Does not dive into tackles, likes to try and play his way out of his trouble. That's okay. He'll do. Then we've got Kirchhoff, who's a good pacey centre-back. Who's alright-ish, decent backup, I guess. And then we've got Martinez, who's better as a defensive midfielder. Heading 13, marking 15, tackling 17. Jumping. He's okay as a centre-back, actually. He might be your third choice centre-back, but maybe one of your main defensive midfielders. So, for me, we've got right-backs and left-backs coming out of our ears, so we don't need to worry about that. Central midfield, not a problem. Wingers, not a problem. Strikers, not a problem. So, for me, this is all about defence. I think we can do better at the defenders, because Boateng and Alaba are better as right-backs, full-backs rather. And yeah, so Benacia's good, the rest are so-so. So what I'll do now is I'll pause the video here and then go ahead in sort of 2-3 weeks time. I'll spend my 22 million, is it, on players and see what we've bought in, and go through the team then and see, maybe even talk about sort of tactic that I might like to use, like a starting out tactic, not some sort of super tactic, but maybe what I'd begin with. I like to begin with a fresh, clean slate, pick a basic tactic, not too many team instructions, and then tweak it as we go. But I'll go through that when we come back. So see you shortly. Montage, do the editing music. Billy-doo, billy-doo, billy-doo. Hello and welcome back. Right, it's only taken us a few weeks, not even that, to do our transfer dealings. Let's go through it now. There might be a couple more outs, but this is the main one. One thing quickly I forgot to go through the first time round was that what they expect us to achieve this season, what the board expects of us. So, win the German First Division. Okay, that's kind of expected. The Cup, win it. Okay, Super Cup, they don't really care. Champions League, semi-final. So, obviously, massive expectations, but you would expect nothing else, really. So, transfers, £20 million to spend, and we've spent it all on 2 players. We need a centre-back, because that was by far the biggest thing. Everything else in the team is fine. So we've got one of my personal favourite sort of superstar youngsters from this year, Mamana. The scouts only rate him as a possible 2.5 star, but I think he's been quality every time I've had him in the game. And for 2.8 million, you can't really go wrong. He's very, very good youngster. He's only 19 years old. Most of you have heard of him by now from River Plate, but just a superb youngster. And the main spending, quite expensive one, was Daniel Rugani. And this guy has just like ridiculous amounts of potential. 20 years old, 7 caps for the Italian under-21 side. Just a very good overall player. I think he's going to be long-term. He's going to be the sort of main Bayern centre-back for years to come and all that stuff. I think he's absolutely superb. One thing to note, there was one other player I was trying to get in, which was Bartra. Now, another superb player, 24 years old. My scouts rate him at 3-star. 3-star. Lots of pros, not very many cons. And he's valued at 17 million, but he has a buyout at the start of the game of £8.5 million, which obviously is now gone. So I tried to sign him for the 8.5, and Barcelona offered him a new contract, and he accepted the Barcelona contract. But what you can do is obviously offer him more money and stuff like that. I didn't offer him too much money because I wasn't too bothered, because I'd already got the 2 guys in. That was just going to be a bonus third player. But if you're looking for a centre-back, 8.5 million, I think he wants about 60,000 a week. So if you offer him more and benefits and all that sort of stuff, I'm sure he'll come to you. So little bargain that's worth 20 million straight away. So not too bad. So there we have our team to start with. Now, looking at the squad, I'm just going to very briefly go over tactic that I was just playing with, looking at the squad. And mainly for me, it was the use of the shadow striker. I haven't used it in Football Manager 16, so I'd really like to sort of give it a go. Obviously, you can do what you like with these wingers, pretty much. I think we'll have a winger, maybe an inside forward. 2 central midfielders, but that's the sort of basic shape anyway. But the main thing was it was control. I was tempted to even just go attacking because we're such a good team, and the way this works is that basically we win the ball back high up the pitch. So we're going. I might even use the offside trap. Higher up the pitch, closing down, lots of closing down, short passing. So we just get it and push. That's pretty much it. Get it into the box and score goals. That's kind of the name of the game, really, isn't it? But like I said, this is a very basic tactic. I'm not going to go too far into it. We've got one of the other guys at FMScout are doing a great tactics video, so go check those out as well. But this is the sort of basic sort of setup that I'd start with, maybe with a few tweaks, and then sort of build from there, really. So yeah, so that's sort of pretty much it. Thank you very much for joining me. If you'd like to check out my videos, link in the description. I think I'll put an annotation somewhere along the top for you to check me out. In the comments, I want you to leave any suggestions of other clubs you'd like to see a club guide do. Now, I've done a few for the FMScout channel, but also on my channel, I've done every single Premiership team. So all 20 Premiership teams. I've also done a couple of other teams. Borussia Dortmund are on there, for example. So if you want to check out that, and I also have a Leeds Save career and a YouTube FC, which is the Creator Club career, for which we started off in the Conference South, working our way up to the Premiership and other games and stuff like that. Thank you very much for joining me, guy. I'll see you next week, probably when I do the next video. Bye bye.